A fleshgait. Did I see a fleshgait? Kinda long story, so I apologize. So I recently very vividly revisited a memory, but with a brand new detail that I never remembered, and it was far more vivid than I can ever remember things. In around 2008 or 2009, my friend was spending the night at my house. We were in 4th grade, dead of night, pitch black in the house and outside except for the backyard light. We walk into the living room and see a layer of eyes under the shed. That's how we've always remembered it. Same exact thing happened with a different friend a few years later. But the other night I very vividly was back in that memory, and instead of eyes under the shed, there was this tall, 7 or 8 feet thing. Arms way too long, looked like something quadrupedal but on 2 legs instead. Very skinny. Had a head that was mostly humanoid, just a bit longer towards the bottom. The entire head was completely featureless and white, and it had antlers. It was just standing there staring at us. I asked both friends I'd seen eyes with and individually asked them to think about that night, but also think about deer antlers, and they both got a really uneasy feeling and could see fragments of the exact thing I vividly saw. I didn't tell them about it until after they told me what they saw. All 3 of us could only picture it in like fragments, almost like our brain isn't letting us remember, picture it, and get super uneasy when we try to. This happened in North Texas BTW, in a suburb, and the creek ran right behind my house. Edit. If you have questions or need me to clarify something, I will if you ask.
I read a story on Reddit about 2 kids about 12 years old in Maine. Out in the woods at a campfire. Just 2 kids. The thing looked like a deer, but looked like it was walking upright on back 2 legs but knees bent backwards as it walked. It had antlers. They tried to ignore it as much as they could, because one was taught by his American Indian ancestors to not acknowledge it, or look at it or talk to it. They ignored it as long as they could till it slowly walked up 5 feet behind the one kid. They talked about a TV show till they couldn't stand it anymore, then took off running. It did not get them, and they got away.
Sounds like it could have been either that, or some sort of Wendigo, but that's pretty much the same thing. I have heard stories where memories of Fleshgaits and Wendigo have been suppressed or sort of altered, so if you're being truthful, it's within the realm of possibility it's what happened to you and your friends.
Sounds like a classic nature spirit encounter. People have described similar things for millennia all over the world.
Do you know if it had fur, and what were the legs like? And was it hooped?
Really short, patchy fur like a wolf with mange. Can't remember if it had hooves, but I think it had really long fingers. And all the legs were really skinny. No access to firearms, only a powerful homemade blowgun, Amazon style, handmade darts. No huge knives either. Live an area where there are thin strips of wood connecting into larger patches and eventually into large rural forest. Canada, Nova Scotia. Been outside a few times late out in the local woods and have been feeling a general feeling of unease and seen a shadowy figure on a tree twice. If I didn't know any better, I would describe its movement as gothling shambling along, not too large. Estimated height 5.5 feet plus or minus 0.5 feet. Seen on tree both times. Doesn't seem like a goat nor goatman. I've observed birds flying away off in the woods in the same way as if they are disturbed by people. Not sure if it's the thing or some people walking, as the area has paths that people take. Found a half-eaten cat as well. Looked like it was quickly nibbled in an insect-like man, like centipede eating leaf insect-like. Again, don't know if it was a bush or a tick. No damages to people done yet. Had a few people I know who live near report similar sightings of something in the branches. Praying this is all just nerves, but in case it isn't, any potential suggestions for determination of the unidentified creature, S. This happened a few months ago in Virginia on a 2-day camping trip with some of my close friends. Normally when we go camping we set up what we call a hammock village near our tents. Basically, it's a collection of 3-6 hammocks strung up on trees near each other that we all sleep in. This particular camping trip, no one but me wanted to sleep in the hammocks, so I set up mine near 2 of my friends' tents on the outer edge of camp. That day everything was fine, and nothing seemed off at all. When it was time to go to bed, I got in my hammock with a sleeping bag and a pillow. Now begins the dream. In my dream, I was in a medium small room with greyish-white walls that almost seemed like mist. I looked around and I was in my hammock hanging at about waist height in the corner of the room so that my head and right side were near the walls. Standing at the left side of my hammock near my foot was the Fleshgait thing. At the time I didn't know what in the hell it was. I had heard of skinwalkers etc, but I didn't know anything about them at the time. It had white skin, was super skinny but not that bony. It also had dark abysses for eyes, a slightly hunched back, and claws. This thing had a blank expression on its face and it was standing parallel with my hammock staring at the floor. I stared at it for about 5 minutes in horror but mostly shock. Soon after I decided I wanted this creature gone from my dream till I could sleep, so I did something stupid. I lifted my left leg up and kicked it. Instantly I knew I fucked up, so I threw my sleeping bag over my face like a little bitch and tried to hide. Almost instantly it ripped my sleeping bag out of my hands, and the last thing I saw in that dream was its face and a claw speeding towards my face while it let out a horrible noise. I woke up yelling at around 3 a.m. After that I tried to ignore what happened so I could sleep. Other than feeling uneasy for the rest of the trip, everything was normal except for my friend saying he heard some weird stuff that night other than me yelling. We all went home with no further incidents. The other day I wanted to research online and find out what it meant, and that was when I discovered fleshgaits. The descriptions of them so closely resembled the thing from my dream. I find this dream strange also because I never have nightmares or even remember my dreams, but I perfectly remember this one. Also, this dream happened in the woods where fleshgaits are said to live. By the way, I don't think this was me just having a dream about something I read or saw before, because I had never read or saw a detailed description of a fleshgait until the last day or so. Has anyone heard anything about them appearing in dreams before this? Thank you so much for watching this video. Do not forget to subscribe to this channel and the following channels above. Until next time, stay weird.